Hi, I'm Ümit, and welcome to In the Process, my new podcast that I've recently launched as part of my business called The Good Company. The Good Company is a consulting business focused on coaching, training, and advisory work in the field of leadership. Leadership is a subject very close to my heart, and we will be talking a lot about it throughout the episodes of this podcast. What I hope to achieve today is to tell you a little bit about my motivation behind launching this podcast, why I've named it In the Process, and what I hope to achieve with it. So let's start with the name first. The name dates back to an experience that I had in high school. In my teenage years, I read a book called In the Process, which was written by Franz Kafka. And those of you that will have read this book will probably relate to what I'm about to say about it. The book made me reflect in so many ways. It was a really unique way of writing that I'd never seen before. And what I found out after I finished the book is actually that Kafka wrote the first and the last chapters of the book first. Everything in between was kind of a random series of chapters that somehow always connected to the beginning and the end and built a very powerful story. And the word story brings me to the motivation behind me launching this podcast. In which context am I actually launching this podcast is also important to consider first. The world we live in is very noisy and it's rapidly developing. There's a lot of disruption with technology, macro trends around the world. I think disruption is the key word to describe the world we live in. Interestingly, we've developed a lot of technology in recent years that connects us more. Social media, email, you name it. There's a lot of technology out there right now that is actually there to connect us. Yet, many of us feel very lonely and isolated. And this is why I want to bring stories out in this podcast. Stories are a way of showing that we're human. They connect us in ways that technology can't. When we tell our stories, we tell who we are in a very vulnerable and emotional way. We allow others actually to relate to our stories, and we connect with others in ways that is probably not possible through other means. Rather than asking somebody, what do you do? When we ask someone, what's your story? We actually go to a completely different dimension to connect with the person across from us. So this is why I'm very excited to bring in, hopefully in the next couple of weeks and months, a series of leaders to tell their stories, to tell me, where they've come from, where they are today, and where they're hoping to go. By sharing these stories, I want to bring out powerful examples of leadership that we see in today's world, whether it's in business, in education, in sports, in arts. It doesn't matter which domain and sector or area of life. Leadership is everywhere and stories are everywhere. And my goal and my main motivation with this podcast is actually to uncover those hidden stories and share them with all of you. So, thank you for listening in today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in future episodes. See you soon. Take care.